You read the title, the end is near. Despite the record-breaking number of people who actively play games, despite games being more profitable than ever, and despite the expansion of the industry, gaming is somehow dying. Actually, not somehow. I'll tell you how. Games aren't necessarily getting worse, quite the opposite actually. The industry's just dying. It's dying in a way that's keeping me crying. Despite a history that was rigorous, the titans of this place became just like Icarus, getting wings made of money and wax, afforded by avoiding honey and the tax. Riding on a wind blown by the need for greed, the titans couldn't be stopped by the gravitas of avarice. But the players wanted fun, and this desire burned like the sun.
I don't know why I wrote this part. You know how the rest of the Icarus story goes. His wings burn and he dies.
When I say gaming is dying, I'm specifically talking about the titans that have held up the industry. These guys. An industry titan is a figure that maintains an industry's popularity and relevance.
Toyota, cars, Nike, shoes, Mars, candy, Taylor Swift. These titans stay on top by convincing the public that their products are the best for the price they're being sold at. And they continuously make a profit by selling you the same thing over and over again with only minor adjustments. They get away with this because they typically sell products that depreciate.
Alright, now picture this. A company tries to sell you a product that doesn't technically depreciate. But despite that, they need to continuously sell you new products to remain profitable. Well then, the company would need a very talented development team to create new experiences compelling enough to incentivize the consumer to purchase new products. And dang it, they already fired the whole development team. Gaming is dying for 3 reasons. The first reason lies in the fact that the titans of this industry are surviving off of borrowed time. The most profitable parts of any company that operates in the entertainment industry is a result of intellectual property, IP. Nobody pays thousands of dollars for a Disney trip to appreciate the park's architectural prowess. They go because they want to ride the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars because they like Star Wars. Likewise, most don't buy a new video game console and as a result into an ecosystem unless they believe there's going to be worthwhile intellectual property to engage with. Xbox published very few worthwhile IP over the last 2 generations, and their unit sale numbers are very indicative of that. Consumers weren't given much of a reason to engage with their ecosystem, so they didn't, and the Xbox brand is kind of burning as a result.
I don't think Asha Sharma's saving the place, I'll be honest.
While PlayStation has done well enough this generation, that's mostly because they've capitalized off of the IP that they established and popularized in the previous generation. Sony can only ride the high of their IP for so long, and they haven't done a great job establishing new IP for fans to get invested in. As a matter of fact, 90% of the industry titans haven't published a healthy number of successful new IP in the last 6 years. This is bad for their longevity. These companies can only repackage and resell what are effectively the same games over and over again until the consumers inevitably stop caring. New IP is an investment, and these publishers have not been making smart investments. So what, did the talented development teams within these now failing studios just decide to stop making cool new IP? No, obviously not. The executives of these publishers told the developers to stop making cool new innovative IP, and they wanted them to go ahead and make the next Fortnite. And then when the development studios couldn't meet that impossible expectation, they were gutted. The second reason gaming is dying is because these titan companies have been putting all of their resources towards volatile short-term profits. The short-term profits in question are live service experiences. The reason I categorize them as volatile methods of short-term profit is because they must prove that they can be profitable very quickly. Whereas a non-live service IP is a long-term investment because its value doesn't depreciate the moment its servers are unplugged. Unlike live service games, they have a long time to prove their worth, and if they are profitable, boom, you have a milkable franchise, and I don't know, maybe you could make a live service game off that soon. But that would take patience and a keen understanding of the video game medium, something that the head honchos of these companies very much don't have. Live service games seem very appealing to illiterate games industry investors and executives. They theoretically have no limit to their potential profit margins, because their content and by extension monetization pipelines are endless. At least that's how it looks on paper.
Real life isn't made of paper.
Live service multiplayer games are very limited with the types of experience that they can serve the player. Just by virtue of them being expensive multiplayer games, they most likely won't make mechanical and artistic experiences that stick with the player. They need to be immediately profitable and in turn accessible to a fault, while also capturing the attention of whatever emerging zeitgeist is popular in the moment, and they need to hold on to that, and most live service games simply don't do that. To make matters worse, these large publishers have been turning the development teams they previously had for successful single-player ventures into live service game studios in the hopes that their talent could create the next Fortnite. And as stated earlier, the moment they don't live up to that impossible expectation, they get gutted. And even if every studio that's turned into a live service studio created only worthwhile multiplayer games, they still wouldn't be profitable in the way investors want them to be. This is because players only have so much time to dedicate to a single online game. Supply would always outweigh demand in this case if the plan was to keep players invested in the same game for years to come. And then the final reason gaming is dying is due to poor leadership. There's a detrimentally large disconnect between the people who call the shots in the games industry and the medium itself. Every time I look at a CEO of one of these game publishers, it feels like they're either a competent manager but not a gamer, or they're a gamer but a poor leader. And that's just not healthy for the industry. Gaming as a medium isn't actually dying, obviously. However, the old guard is collapsing. The next generation of consoles isn't looking to be much of a necessary leap, but more so a suggestion, and it now lacks the internal support system to make it worth listening to that suggestion on the consumer end. And that is unfortunate, but I think if there was ever a time to invest into a gaming PC, it would be now.